After I fully caught up to One Piece, I asked myself, what is it that makes everything so entertaining? There are many answers to that question, and everyone will have their own opinions, but the first thing that came up into my mind was suspense. One Piece isn't the only anime/manga that makes good use of it, and it won't be the last. That said, I think One Piece does a great job in utilizing suspense to add tension and effectively hook its viewers to tune in again. Suspense is the state of excitement or anxiety regarding a certain event. It is the ever-looming feeling you get when you know something is about to go down. Maybe you know what it is and maybe you do not, but that feeling alone is what brings you back to tune in. For some real-life examples, think of a Jack-in-the-Box. You know what it's going to do, which is pop out, but you don't know when. The build-up you get is suspense. Another example is going up a roller coaster. Oftentimes the way up is the scariest because of the tension you get from knowing what is going to happen. The last example is a horror film. In here you do not know what is going to happen, but you are always alert because all the elements make you feel like something is coming. There are different forms of suspense, and to make great use of it, it is important to have various elements of it to prevent things from being dull and predictable. Who, what, where, when, why, and how are some important ingredients for suspense. Sometimes you may know some of these things and other times you may not. The mystery behind these ingredients are what causes that feeling of suspense. Now that we've gone through what suspense is, as well as some different ways you can create it, let's go through some examples of how it has been utilized in One Piece. One Piece did a great job with building suspense, as the majority of his arcs made use of it in one way or another. Whether it is from a cataclysmic event, an undying mystery, or the foreshadowed fate of a beloved character, One Piece varies its ways in bringing upon tension. The three aspects that I will be talking about which helped One Piece excel in building suspense is danger, mystery, and foreshadowing. This will be a 3-part series, and for the first part, I'll go over One Piece's use of danger. Almost every arc was enshrouded with suspense because it was eclipsed by a catastrophic event that was about to hit. To add on to that, most of the arcs had an added time limit of something terrible that was about to go down. This extra tension works to get you more invested into the story. Furthermore, beloved characters are often put in dangerous circumstances, which up the stakes while making you more anxious. Again, these things aren't solely done by One Piece, but One Piece does a great job in it. Most of the arcs had hints of danger like this. Let's go through some examples of this, starting with Alabasta. This arc became my favorite when it reached that point because it was such a roller coaster of emotions. As we come to find out, there was a civil war going on in Alabasta, and every moment wasted meant there were more innocent lives lost to war. Luffy and the gang were able to stop this war, but whenever they spent time fighting Crocodile's minions and trying to reach the war zone, more soldiers would die by the second. Another example was when Luffy, Smoker, and the rest of the gang were trapped and about to be drowned. The crew members and their dreams were all in jeopardy, along with the rest of the country. Same with the bomb that goes off near the end of the arc. These 3 moments in particular added a lot of tension. I remember when I was reading One Piece, my heart was racing to find out what would happen next. There was a time limit that the Straw Hat crew had on this dangerous event, and every second that passed by meant more damage was being done. Next we got Skypiea, where Eneru was destroying the lands they were in. With enough time, he would destroy all of Skypiea along with everyone in it. The danger here was not only Eneru, but it was also a race against time to evacuate as many people as possible and defeat Eneru before all of it was lost. The feel of danger was similar to Alabasta, with both arcs using a limited time window and the destruction of a nation. Next up we got Water 7 and Enies Lobby, which were my favorite arcs as well. In Water 7, the crew is struggling to find out what is happening to their crewmate, Nico Robin, who supposedly defected from the group and attempted to murder the mayor of Water 7. While that fear is in the crew members' minds, we are constantly reminded of the Aqua Laguna, a huge set of high tides that take place annually. These waves cause massive flooding, so evacuation is needed for survival. The waves were set to hit at any moment when the crew arrived, so that was another big event that would change the surroundings. This is an event that we know will happen, but we just don't know when and what problems it will cause. On top of all that, throughout this arc, the integrity of the crew was under strain. The crew was in danger of slowly breaking up from the inside. First it was the Going Merry that was breaking down. Then it was the disappearance of Nico Robin. After that, it was Usopp who would butt heads with the Captain Luffy. The whole crew was in jeopardy, which brought upon huge amounts of tension. Only time will tell if the crew would come out unharmed. And those questions will continue on to the next arc, Enies Lobby. In this arc, the crew rushes to save Nico Robin, even though they do not know if she will come with them. These two arcs are tied together with Nico Robin, so the tension and hype surrounding her all transfer over like it is the second part of a roller coaster. The crew must catch up to her and save her before she enters an unbreakable prison, a point of no return. The Straw Hats then have to get around the obstacle that is the famed CP9, all while the time for saving Nico Robin is winding down. After some grueling battles, they finally catch up to Robin, but the suspense doesn't end there, as they now have to worry about a buster call, a concentrated blast of explosions in the area. With time against their side once again, they have to evacuate while fighting off the government navy in order to live for another day. By now you must have a good handle on the timed danger aspect One Piece employs so well. Perhaps the best showcase of timed danger is an event so big that it spans multiple arcs, the Summit War Saga. Starting off in the Sabaody arc, Luffy and his crewmates are transported to separate places by Bartholomew Kuma with their locations and health all unknown. Soon enough, Luffy finds out his brother Ace is going to be executed in Marineford. This was the king of time danger that I've been talking about. The tension created in the next few arcs from this event alone was enormous. Luffy had a clear goal and time frame that he needed to reach in order to save his brother, but we were left to wonder how he would pull off the impossible. Luffy would break into Impel Down, an underwater prison where Ace was being kept for the time being. After traversing all the floors and almost dying, he would reach the final floor only to find out that he was too late. Ace had just been moved to Marineford, and now Luffy had to get there as soon as possible to stop the execution. Luffy, who was without a crew, would recruit all sorts of former enemies to break out of the prison with him. Whether they would backstab Luffy or not, we wouldn't know, and those lingering thoughts would remain until they reached the next battlefield, the climax of it all. Multiple arcs, all leading up to one event, which would shake the foundations of this world. The hype, the suspense from the previous arcs, has reached the final destination, Marineford. Just as Ace was about to be executed by the Navy, a famed legend who we knew would show up makes his appearance. The strongest man in the world appears out of the seas, with his crew all there to save his crew member Ace. On the Navy side, we have the three admirals, the warlords, fleet commander, and even Luffy's grandfather, the legendary Marine Garp. With so many people of interest come so many questions, so many unknowns, and so much tension. A perfect cocktail for suspense. Just as the fight begins, Luffy and his crew arrive from a ship falling from the sky. The rest is history as absolute chaos ensues, all to save one man, the progeny of the king of the pirates. With the loss of life, danger, and time limit of Ace's execution amplifying it all. Next up, we can refer to the Fishman Island arc. It was said that Luffy would destroy the whole island. Although he did not destroy it yet, it added on to an already tense situation, especially when there was a civil uprising, an attempted coup d'etat. Next up we have Dressrosa. Dressrosa was another amazing arc when it comes to suspense because it was a battlefield on all fronts. Every character of interest was a part of a deadly confrontation. The Strawhats were in pursuit by the Flamingo's crew, Big Mom's crew, and the Navy. Mixed into it all were the citizens of Dressrosa, the gladiators, and even the revolutionaries. As we've learned from Marineford, when all these people of interest come to one location, you better expect chaos. One example of time danger in this arc was when Usopp was given the task to free the citizens of Dressrosa from their doll forms. If he was not able to defeat Sugar, everyone, including his crew, would suffer greatly. Another example of timed danger was when the dictator of the land, Doflamingo, employed his birdcage, which would kill everyone in its vicinity. Luffy was the man to take out Doflamingo, but he had to do it before Doffy's birdcage killed everyone, with the whole city cheering them on and giving it their all to suppress the birdcage. Suspense was flaring as Luffy and Doffy would have perhaps my favorite fight in all of One Piece. The next arc we'll discuss is Whole Cake Island. In Whole Cake, the suspense comes from 3 main events. Number 1, save Sanji. Number 2, foil the marriage. And number 3, escape Big Mom's wrath. Luffy and the retrieval squad had the task to rush into the enemy territory without getting noticed and save their crew member before losing him forever. Things get even more complicated once Sanji and Luffy engage in a heated battle, after Sanji states he will not come back. This leaves us with many questions and brings us to wonder how things will unfold. The integrity of the crew is once again in danger, and the same can be said for the retrieval team, who are tailed by Big Mom's pirate crew. Eventually, we find out the whole marriage was aroused to usurp the Vinsmoke family's power. Sanji was set to be shot by Pudding during their marriage, and his whole family were set to be murdered. Word reaches Luffy and his crew, and now they must come up with a plan to save Sanji and escape this inexplicable situation. The retrieval team forms an alliance with Biggie Gang Capone, and they plot to storm the marriage and take out Big Mom. As they go through with the plan, Sanji and his family survives, but they fail to assassinate Big Mom, and now they must escape Big Mom's territory without getting killed by her or her subordinates, while also finding a way to stop her rampage. Many of One Piece's arcs make great use of this timed danger aspect. It brings in urgency, ups the stakes, and ultimately makes the build-up and ending much more appealing. Anyways, I think that's enough for danger. The next element I'll be covering is the use of mystery, which will be in part 2. Be sure to tune in then.